new one coming up. Hey, Richard.
Hey, Richard. Hey, Jonathan.
Can you hear me? Sorry for the delay.
No problem.
All right. So how are you today?
Good today.
Okay, so we're gonna jump on to the tour. Just bear with me. So tell me some more about how what is inspired you to decide to convert the double decker. It seemed like a lot of work.
Sure, Finn, absolutely. Obviously I'm living on the west coast of Ireland, and I moved from the east coast, from Dublin, about 18 years ago, and went to live in a place called Mayo, which is the far side of Lough Corrib, which is the biggest lake here in Ireland. And about 5 years ago, I moved to this tiny little country cottage in a place called Uachtarard, which would be the gateway to Connemara, the famous Connemara, and part of the Wild Atlantic Way. So I came from a very big, beautiful house, not a tiny house, and I found myself in this little cottage and thinking, oh dear, because I have some daughters, I have son-in-laws, I've got grandchildren, I've got friends, and I said, where's everybody going to sleep? The place is not big enough. And, you know, I'm thinking, what do you do? And the trigger happened. You buy a double-decker bus, of course. That's going to create some space, and then they'll all have somewhere to go. So yeah, that's what happened. We bought a double-decker bus.
All right, there we go. Now we're going to go on your tour. Okay, let's put it up.
Around today, it's a double-decker bus. It spent most of its life in England, and after coming from England after about 28 years, it came to Ireland and arrived here, and I spent 1 year converting it. So it's got its own little garden around the bus. You've got a very nice fire pit and a nice garden, somewhere to sit. We've also got a lovely deck area. Nice area and a full deck wrapped around the bus. And as a unique little feature, I've also introduced a little outdoor shower just for something different. So why don't you not follow me over and let me give you a look at that. So guys, we go down through the bamboos here. It gives a lot of lovely privacy. A little half door in the shower. And as you come in, you can see the view that we have as you shower here. A beautiful view of the countryside, which is sort of very unique. And I totally lined this shower in cedar. Just behind me here, we've got a little watering can that I use as the shower head. Which is kind of unique. Why not have a watering can? So guys, welcome aboard the Wild Atlantic bus. Obviously we had to strip out everything. There was originally 74 seats in here, and it took quite a considerable amount of time. It took me 1 full year, and I did 98% of the work myself. It was some achievement, and in my time I've converted the VW, the hippie campers, the bay window campers. I've done 5 of those, but to take on a project like this was something else. But anyway, come on inside. We redid the driving position and a brand new seat, but come into the bus. So, obviously a double-decker bus, and remember this bus is almost 30 years old now. They were obviously quite low, and when I went to buy it,
I was, ducking my head, and I said to the guy, Gary, who I bought it from, I said, "Hey, Gary, it's quite low." And he reminded me, "What do you do on a bus, Richard? You sit down." So it didn't really matter about height. But obviously with the bus and the conversion, I decided that maybe, particularly in the kitchen area and the cooking area, that we needed a bit of height. So what I did was I cut the center of the bus out, which gives a great amount of height and creates this lovely, beautiful mezzanine look. So come on in and have a look at that. So that's the mezzanine. And some nice little features, and obviously I installed a very nice Belfast sink. And then again, your cooker, your fridge, and all the bits and pieces that anybody would need. All sorts of funky stuff. So that was this area, and then as we went down, obviously I wanted to reduce the height back to the original bus size, and I knew that people would sit here, but in this area it was great because people could stand. It gave them a bit of headroom. And then here I installed, even though with the outdoor shower, I felt, well, people may not be so keen on going outside, so I put in a toilet, and there's a little shower inside there as well. And sit down maybe on the toilet and see the view that you have. So then inside, come on in. So guys, back in the wraparound area here at the back of the bus, it would have originally had about 20 seats in it. And in this particular area, I decided that it'd be perfect because people need to sit down and relax and enjoy, so they can sit down here. This area here converts into a full double bed. With massive length. I mean, if you were 7 foot, you could sleep here. And then, of course, it's got the very nice wood burning stove. Let me give you a look at the wood burning stove. Put in a very nice wood burning stove, which you see here. It's got 7 kilowatts, and it pumps out quite a bit of heat. Which is absolutely amazing. I mean, in here it's like a sauna, and even in the winter time, the bus is perfectly designed to cater for the Irish winters, which can be pretty cold. And it's got central heating and everything inside the bus as well. So that's this area, guys. I can't tell you an awful lot more about it. There's plenty of storage and everything underneath. Obviously, after doing the VW campers, the bay windows, I had to consider getting as much space and getting as much making it as compact as possible, so that when people were living here, staying here, that they'd have facilities for storing stuff. So look, let's go upstairs and show you what we did upstairs. As we pass through the kitchen again, then just another little feature. I love this idea of this bus stopping. It took me a bit of work to try and get that to light up, but I managed to do that, and that's just a nice little area. And again, looking outside as you wash the dishes or anything like that. But anyway, look, let's go on upstairs, and let me show you the upstairs. So here at the front of the bus, as a child, I always loved rushing to the front of the bus to sit up the front. Mum, can I sit up the front? But now you sleep up the front. So we've got a small double here, which is absolutely fantastic, cozy. All my guests just absolutely love it. So that's it. And then again, underneath, always thinking about storage. That's because the bed is slightly high. Huge amount of storage in this area. And I keep all the linen and the bedspreads and everything for the downstairs area there. So as we pan around, then you will see that we've created this little mezzanine unit, and you can look down into the mezzanine and back into the kitchen, and then obviously down towards the back of the bus. So guys, in this area again, there was probably around about 20 seats in this little area at the back of the bus, and I decided, okay, I would like, you know, to be able to sleep about 6 people on the bus. So we created this nice space, and this lovely day bed, and the day bed comes out. You get a full double. There are 2 mattresses. One comes down on top of the other. Look, guys, I'm not going to show you now, but you get the concept of how that works. Very cozy, and then all the duvets and everything in underneath there. And once again, just an amazing view from the bus. And in the distance, you're looking out over the hills, and you get some little shot. I don't know whether you'll see it on the camera, obviously, of Loch Corrib, which is the biggest lake in Ireland, and the last remaining wild brown trout lake in Europe that you can come and fish on for free. So if you do decide to come to Ireland and stay on the Wild Atlantic bus, that's an experience not to be missed. So in this other area, guys, as we pan around here, again you see a magnificent view back up onto the hillside and up into the forest. And obviously trying to keep as many of the features as possible. I once again took one of the old original bus seats, and even decided that I needed to keep the everything working about it, so we recovered it, and yeah, it's pretty good. Also, you'll see the pipe that comes up from the wood burning stove, and that radiates fantastic heat out. And you know, Ireland and the sort of weather we have, even in summertime, people do like the stove, and it just gives that lovely glow of heat. But it's incredible to be on a double decker, and I see in the States you guys convert a lot of the schoolies, and I absolutely love them. I'd love one. But on the double decker, it gives you that amazing height. So guys, it's been good to take this opportunity to introduce you to the Wild Atlantic bus, and sort of having a little glimpse of this little part of Ireland. We're actually, the bus is based, as I say, on the shores of Loch Corrib, and Uachtarard is at the little local village, and it always has been the gateway to Connemara, and an absolutely gorgeous and glorious place to visit, with lakes and rivers and castles and the wild Atlantic Ocean out there as well. So someday, guys, if you make it to Ireland, be sure to give us a shout. Don't pass us, even if you don't book. Look us up. Come and have a cup of tea or maybe an Irish whiskey. So guys, thanks for visiting the Wild Atlantic bus today. I follow a lot of you guys on Instagram, and I love what you do once again with those schoolies, the little houses that you build, the tree houses, the houses out of steel containers, and everything's absolutely fantastic. But anyway, look, you've seen the Wild Atlantic bus, and here today in Ireland we're having a magnificent summer's day, and we're not too far from you, just across the water. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. John and Finn, thank you very much for giving me the chance to show off the Wild Atlantic bus.
All right, we're going to pull Richard back on.
I have you now.
All right. Okay, that's a great talk. So, John, I'm going to ask you a quick question.
Let me get on the camera here. First of all, amazing, golly. Amazing build. Amazing build. That was incredible. When I met Finn, she was living in Wandsworth in London. And I'll never look at a double-decker bus the same way again now. So,
this bus, my bus, originally lived its life in London, so it was a London bus for the majority of its life.
Gotcha.
There we go.
Gotcha. Yeah, Finn was living in Wandsworth, not the dodgy side.
All right, Richard, thank you so much for being with us today, from Ireland. So, well, thank you so much. We can't say thank you enough. Your double decker is absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for including us, and you're doing a fantastic job there. Not easy to tie all this together. Come and visit
Well, thank you
us.
very much.
Thank you.
Come to
Will
the Emerald
do.
Isle.
Finn took me there for my 50th to Shannon.
Ah,
We got a great dead cow story from Ireland.
well, I'd like to
Bye,
hear it over.
Richard.
I'd
Oh,
like to hear
yeah,
it over
definitely.
an Irish whiskey sometime.
Nice. Cheers.
Bye for now.
Bye. All right, so next we have Big Heart Tiny Home. Mark, are you there with us?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Super.
All right, so
are we
sorry for the
live?
delay. We are live, yes.
Okay. Well, we're gonna take you for a tour to see our houses. We've got a couple to show you today, and then at the end, if you have a couple questions, we can answer those. So here we go.
Let's go.
All right. This is our custom model. Let's see, trying to turn my camera around here. There we go. All right, so this is a 24-foot tiny house that we actually live in. We built this a couple years ago as a model house. It's 24 feet. It's has 2 lofts. We're going to go inside in just a minute. We actually pulled this, it's about 9,000 pounds. We pulled it close to maybe 1,000 miles, just around to different festivals and campgrounds and things. It's pretty big to pull around for that reason, but we did it just to say we could. And then we built this, which is a much smaller model, 80 square feet. It'll actually sleep 6, and we'll go into that as well. It's a lot easier to move around, weighs less than 4,000 pounds, right around 3,500-ish. So we'll go and take a look at that also. That was just kind of inspired on the idea that we could travel and do neat things together with the family and kind of promote the business as we did it. So let's walk inside over here. We have, basic board bat exterior, little metal accent. These are some very large tilt out windows, awning style. Except for the middle one there above the big 4x4, it's a fixed window. But all these other ones tilt, including the one on the front and the back. So here we're going to come into the back. First thing you'll notice when you come in is we have this large loft, kind of not right in the entry, but a little, it keeps it nice and open. Got a fan here. You see we also have a nice inviting fireplace that we use as backup power. It runs 750 and 1500 watts. And a couple years ago when we were at the United Tiny House Festival, that was pretty chilly out. I think it was early March, and it was 30 degrees out. We had this running about 750 degrees off of our generator, 750 watts, and it kept this space nice and warm. So without any heating and cooling besides the heater. Just a little few visual things we've done here just to make it homey. Like I said, we have been living in this space for a couple of years. Gives us a nice space to retreat from the house. We actually do have a regular house and our kids stay there. We have 7 kids. 3 have moved out now, so we use this space as a getaway. It's kind of nice. Got a loft up here with a full queen size bed. This is actually one of the number beds, so his and hers comfort. Lots of windows, lots of space, lots of light. We actually upgraded this model to have granite countertops, a little bit nicer. This is 20-inch gas stove, all of the kitchen storage spaces. This, of course, is a sliding window that opens, gives you lots of space, view. little pantry space here with the kind of necessities. This is a 10 cubic foot fridge, Lowe's special with microwave. Of course, you can use the space however you want. We also have a washer dryer combo unit here, which is kind of nice. A little extra storage here and there. These little cubbies fit in here perfectly, give you a little extra storage space. Of course, this is our steps to the, ladder to our second loft, which this is kind of a unique loft. We built it using steel 1-inch tubing and tongue and groove. And the reason we did that was we wanted to have something that took very little space from the floor and from the loft. So at 1 inch and 3/4 inches, you can see it gives you much more clearance on the bottom space and more space in the top versus your standard, it's about 4 inches. So if you're a very tall person, we've done this. It's very nice. Gives you a lot more clearance, but then still have the loft space. And this is set up as like a little reading nook, or you could put a mattress up there for sleeping. A couple different things. Our base model that we sell, I've got a poster for it right here. And you, of course, can look on our website, which is bighearthouses.com. It has all the details of what comes with the build, but we have a base model build. It's 20 feet that we sell, and then we modify from there. All of our homes that we build are all made to order, custom spec'd. And if you go to our website and look at our YouTube channel, we have 30 or 40 different designs that we've created for people that have anywhere from base level living, inverted lofts, dual staircases, pretty much whatever you can dream up. We can put those in there. We've even done full-size jacuzzi tubs, skylights, the such, all the fancy things that people see in their Instagram feeds and say, I want that. So we can build that. We go through a design process. We usually charge $300 for that because we're going to create a 3D model of your house exactly how you want it. And the beauty of that is it looks exactly the same when we're finished. And that's a key thing because sometimes it's hard to understand what you have in your head. So we create it virtually and then we're all on the same page. So let's go into the bathroom. Here we actually have a small tub. This is a shower tub. It's 3 foot by 2 foot. Of course, extra space on the back here. That makes up the back of the shower. Lots of space for toiletries and towels and such. IKEA hanging fixture, shower surround. This is a nice setup because if you want to soak and sit, this is it's not a stretch out 60-inch tub, but at 3 feet you can sit in it, which is nice for soaking your feet and other things. So IKEA vanity. Also, we have the nice vanity mirror that goes along with it. Little extra storage in the corner here for more toiletries, etc. It's our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube channel info, just in case you wanted it. And then this is kind of unique. We have used the Nature's Head composting toilet in our schoolie that we built. And if you want to see more about that, you can go to our about page on Big Heart Houses, and it'll link you to missionbus.com, which we traveled for about 4 years and did some traveling around the country in a schoolie. It's a 40-foot Thomas that we pulled with a trailer. So anyway, back to the toilets. These toilets, basically, this is a dry flush on this side, and this is a gray water tide liquids only. So solids, liquids. And the nice thing about this is we don't spend a tremendous amount of time in here, just night times. So we don't need to have, a lot, unless we have guests. We typically don't fire this guy up. We just use the liquids, which is nice. It's basically just a brewing funnel that ties to the plumbing. So it all drains outside to our gray water system. And this is a 50 amp setup. We have a 220 volt mini split that heats and cools down to about 17 degrees. We also have an AV system, sorry, my tongue tied, with a large screen. We can actually pull this away from the wall if we want to. Give us a little more viewing possibilities, which is kind of nice. Push this back. And we can build lots of different configurations. We actually do container homes as well. So let's go take a look at the Tiny House Explorer. I'm gonna walk around the other side this time. So in the back here, we have two very large barn doors we use as storage. All of our survival and camping gear, whatever we need, can all be stored in the back. And this is basically from here back is all storage, which is really nice for camping. And each bunk has its own window for view and breeze. The front has solar storage, batteries and controllers and such, gas water heater. This actually has a water collection system here that takes water off of the roof and brings it down into our tank. So this is technically a full off-grid setup, which can go anywhere, anytime. Let's go inside and take a look. Here, again, this is our bathroom right as you kind of come in the door. It's got a full shower. This is actually a 110 mini split that's powered by our solar system. And then we have the wet and dry wastes. So we separate those. The liquids is actually tied into the gray water system. There is no black water system in this build. Here's our mini kitchen, the fridge. We have a cook plate down there if we're doing cooking. Usually if we're out in the woods, we may do a bonfire and things like that, but we do have a microwave and a TV. Nice windows. You can see here we've got the bunk setup is kind of interesting because while you can sleep 6 in here, we do actually have a leaf basically that goes here and here, so that we could technically sleep 2 more small people. But since, like I said, we're down to about 4 kids, so this is actually working pretty well. We have the mats that fold out. These actually fold up. They're on a hinge, so they can stow away and open up the space if you need it for something else. You could put one side up and use one side as a table for eating, with a folding chair and things like that. Of course, we also have, right now we're totally on solar power, but that's additional lighting. We've got that down there and down here. So that's that. I don't know if you have any questions possibly, but one last thing, it might be of interest. We do have a shell here that we're trying to sell. It's ready to go for somebody ready to start a project. This is essentially our base model, which is the 20 foot. It's a 20 foot, 224 square foot setup. And we haven't painted it yet because we wanted to give somebody the option to pick their color, but it is framed for the loft on the inside. It's just ready for your electrical and plumbing and all that. Now, if you decide you want to build one, you want us to do it, we can do the build out for you. So.
All right. Okay, that is wonderful.
Can you hear us, Mark?
I got you.
Hey, man, that was awesome. Thanks a lot. We appreciate that.
Not just one, but 4 houses that we will be able to
4 houses. That's like dinner and a show. So thank you.
Thanks for having me.
I've got a real quick question for you real quick before you leave. And it's a historical question, and I know the answer to this, but I'd hate for you to leave without sharing this. You all used to live as a family of 7 or 10 in the bust, and then your
9 actually,
first
yes.
tiny house was actually a kitchen you would tow behind the house that you modified for somebody. Why don't you expand or share on that real quick?
So it was 9, my wife and 7 kids. We traveled coast to coast, about 20,000 miles. Amazing adventure. We had a 65-foot total length rig that was a 40-foot Thomas, along with a trailer that we built that was a kitchen. It was about an 8x8 full-size kitchen, had full-size appliances, an 8x8 garage, pulled my Harley in the back, and it had a 3-foot loft. And each of the kids had a trunk, and whatever they could fit in the trunk, they could put in the loft, and that was their kind of special space. We at the end of that time, I had the tiny kitchen, we called it, and this was back in 2010 when we started this adventure. So it was a little bit before tiny house started getting really a lot of exposure. And I thought, you know what, somebody might want this. So we sold it to a college student and helped her convert it into a tiny house. And for a couple years, and then it went to someone else. But yeah, that was the origins of Big Heart. So the way we got into building tiny houses is one of her friends at college called and said, "Hey, I need a tiny house." And I said, "Oh,
Oh,
okay, let's see if we can do this."
there we
So we
go.
built the first one, and that was close to 30 builds ago. Now, something you didn't know, and I hope you come to the Tiny House Festival coming up in July, you'll get to see what we've been working on more recently, which is a almost 400 square foot, 4 slide out fifth wheel that is used by Hollywood A-list actors. Come to the
Oh,
show and you'll find out who.
ooh, wow. Can't wait. All right, Mike, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much,
Can't
man.
thank you enough.
You're welcome.
Take care, sir. We'll see you.
See ya.
Bye now.
Bye
Bye now.
All right, so next in line we have Co and Mary. Hello, guys. Can you hear us?
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. So let's jump on to the talk. Can't wait.
All right, thanks. Hey, everybody. So my name is Marique, and this is my wife.
Kotanesa.
And we are 28 years old. We live in the Dallas, Texas area. We've been in our tiny house officially now for almost 3 years. And I would say the biggest thing that the tiny house really represents for us is really just a radically different financial life. When we went tiny back in 2017, it was just shortly after starting our debt-free journey. So over the first 2 years of us living in the tiny house, we actually paid off all of our debt, 100% of it, which was $125,000 worth of debt, including the tiny house itself. And so that's kind of been the biggest and most transformative thing about this journey for us. And so today we just wanted to talk a little bit more about how we were able to do that, share our story a little bit, and then at the end, share some tangible tips that we think could help others to do something similar.
Yeah, so I'll dive in a little bit more into our story. So before in 2017, before we started this debt-free journey, we kind of just had the mindset of if we have good credit, then we can just spend however we would like. And so we didn't really think very much about a budget or like how we were spending our money. We were just spending as we wished and then paid it off later. And so what kind of changed the mindset there was we received a settlement of about $9,000. And at that time, Marique started doing some research and he stumbled upon Dave Ramsey. I had already told him about Dave Ramsey prior to that, but he wasn't ready to hear that yet. So when he found Dave Ramsey, then at that time, we kind of got on the same page and we were like, okay, what are we going to do about this? We need to get out of debt. And so we sat down, we created a budget. That was the first time ever creating a budget for us. We kind of like mapped out and saw how much discretionary funds that we had that we were wasting on things like just going out to eat all the time or going to the movies. And so we took all of that extra income and just directed it all towards debt. And so we decided we use a debt snowball method. And so we lined up all of our debt from the smallest to the largest, and we kind of just threw everything extra that we had at the smallest debt. We probably did this for about 6-ish months, and then realize, okay, we actually need to move through this a little bit faster. So we said, well, what can we do to increase our income? So we decided to pick up a bunch of extra jobs. Between the two of us, we probably ended up having like 6 jobs at one time. We picked up things like serving or pizza delivery, things like that. At one point, he was doing UPS overnight. We just were trying to do as much as possible to get out of debt as fast as possible. And so all that extra work that we put in, we were able to eliminate our debt completely in April of 2019.
Yeah, absolutely. We would say a couple of tips for people that are looking to eliminate debt, or eliminate all of their debt is basically, I think the first thing is just kind of understanding the formula. And it's a very simple formula. And it's essentially reducing your expenses, increasing your income, and then throwing all of the difference at your debt. Now, that sounds really simple when I say it like that. And so I think the important thing is to really implement some strategies that help you change your behavior. And all of this is new to us too. You know, when we first started, we never imagined that we'd be able to pay off so much. But it really, the plan that we worked by organizing our debts from smallest to largest, it really changed our behaviors. As we started to and the reason it changed our behaviors was because of the motivation we felt. As we started to make our way through debt after debt after debt, every single one, no matter how small they were, they felt like big wins. Like we went from 12 accounts down to 11. And even though that first one was like $20, $30 on a credit card or something like that, we just knew, okay, we set this goal. We said we're going to do this thing. And now we've officially eliminated one of those accounts. And now we're down to 11 for good. And then it was down to 10. And then it was down to 9. Every single time, you know, that snowball continued to roll and we continued to make progress, we got more and more and more motivated. So when we talk about having 3 jobs and working 10, 12, 15 hours a day, it sounds insane, but the actual crazy part is that we enjoyed it. You know, it felt so freeing that we finally had control over our finances and we were finally making progress, and we really started to feel for the first time like we controlled the direction of our life and our financial life. And so those are our biggest tips to people is just starting. Like starting is the hardest part. Like if you can decide to start something like this, it's a life changer, honestly, and your motivation and the progress you make continues to carry you through. So definitely organize them smallest to largest. Definitely focus all your energy, everything extra that you have coming in onto those, and then you'll begin to map it out and start to figure it out as you go. The monthly budget is super important. Those 2 tips are super important, and those are really like the most important things we could say. John and Finn, are you guys still there? Did we lose you? I don't know if anybody can hear us. Well, if you guys can still hear us, we maybe can answer some questions and maybe drop some questions down there in the chat so we can know if everybody's still there.
Oh, nope. I can't. It just went away. There's nothing on here anymore.
Let me see.
Oh, we got new person.
Okay.
What is this? The chat say?
Hi everyone, I'm Pauline, a nomad yoga teacher who lives in this van. And let's have a break together during this amazing United Tiny House Festival. So you don't need anything, just stay sitting wherever you are. If you're on the chair, just make sure that both feet are flat on the ground, otherwise you can come cross-legged like me. So release your hands on your knees. You can close your eyes or keep them open. And we're gonna slowly start with slow neck rotation. Really slowly. And let's turn the other way around. Come back to the center. Lengthen the spine. And here, hands still on the knees. We're gonna take a deep inhalation. Push your chest forward, shoulders back, chin up. So you arch your back here. And on the exhalation, you can press gently your hands into your legs to round your back, chin down. We keep the same movement. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Again, inhale, shoulders back. Exhale. Inhale, this time we're gonna do rotation with the upper body. So you come forward through the right side. Lift your chin, exhale, come back through the left side. Round your back. One more time, inhale. Exhale. The other way around. Inhale, come forward through the left side. Shoulders back and down. Exhale, round your back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Open your arms to the side. Hope you got enough space like me. On the exhalation, you're gonna rotate to the right. Twist here. You can place your left hand outside the opposite knee. Other hands can release behind you. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, twist a bit more, looking above your right shoulder. Inhale, we're gonna rotate to the other side directly. So keep turning. Right hand outside the opposite knee, left hand behind you. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist. Inhale, come back to the center, hands to the heart. And let's finish with 3 breaths through the mouth. So we're gonna inhale through the nose, the shoulders gonna lift a bit, and on the exhale through the mouth, shoulders release down. Let's do it together. Inhale. Exhale now. Again, inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Thank you for watching. So hope you enjoyed. If you want to know more about my adventure, you can follow me on Instagram. My name is Yoga Van Life. I travel with Albany. So meanwhile, have a good day.
That is such a nice, relaxing moment there. I needed it, indeed, of the artist. Now, our next guest, you guys hearing me? You guys hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. All right. So this is bench 2. Rachel and Joel. So Joe, sorry, it's me.
Oh no,
All
you're
right.
good.
You know what's really sad is she asked me to verify how to pronounce your first name like 3 times in the past week. I'm like,
That's funny.
Very
That's awesome.
like,
A lot of
it's,
people will say Joel because that's
it's
commonly
Joel,
like pronounced.
you know. Now, I don't feel so bad when we go back to Thailand and I'm like, okay, how do you say your university's name? And she's like,
Okay, knock it off.
it's
Knock it off right there.
And I'm like,
All right, okay, guys.
got
Well,
it.
thank you so much. Let's jump to the tour and see what we have there. I'm just gonna switch the screen, so do that. All right, it's yours now. The screen, the show is yours.
Alrighty. Well, I just want to thank the year. It's been 11 months so far, and let's go show you around.
Camera turned around real quick.
All right, so while we're outside, I'm going to take you to the back and just kind of show you where our solar batteries are, our tankless water heater. So we'll head over here to what I like to call the garage. It's pretty messy, so forgive me for that. Currently, last week we started building our solar, so it's kind of messy right now. It's not fully set up, but I have 8 lithium valence batteries here. We have a 3,000 watt inverter, 2 charge controllers, and we have 4 solar panels up top that are 390 watts. Over here on this side, we have a tankless water heater, and then this pole you see right here, this telescoping pole, we were able to raise and lower, and that's how we're able to have Wi-Fi, because me and my wife, all of our income's online so that we can travel where we want to go and still make a living. So we always got to have internet. If you brought your phone out here, this wasn't plugged in, you probably have maybe at best 1 bar. We're able to have full service out here, which means we're able to have fast internet. So that's our garage area. Now we'll head around to the front. This bus was built on HGTV. A couple years ago, we bought it off the original builders, and we haven't really changed anything on the outside except put a real door in. The whole inside, though, so come on in. All right, so as you can see, we kind of kept the original layout of our bus, but we decided to change it a lot, make it ours. Like the walls, as you can see, are shiplap. This is all Rachel's doing. She is the interior designer. But before it was just plywood, and you can see the cracks where the plywood met, and these windows were not framed out. So we put put some trim up and framed those out because there's insulation coming through and stuff. This couch was bright pink, so we did. Her mom redid the whole couch color and add some cushions and stuff. Also, we decided to put this little shelf in here for her succulents and this little shoe cubby. Figured it was some space that we could put to some good use. When we first moved in here, there was no storage. All you had was a few lower cabinets on the kitchen, and that was pretty much it. So down here, we also added this flap for the couch, because all that space underneath the couch was not being used, and we had boxes to the ceiling in here. And so we said we need to figure out where we're putting all our stuff, so we need to build storage first and foremost. So I also built this little shelf here, customized to our needs. That's our cat, Montego, call him Monty. He loves it in here. And so this is the kitchen. We just finished this a couple months ago. When we bought it, there was just plywood and sticker countertops. There was no drawers or anything, so we redid the whole kitchen. There was floating shelves, which is not good for when you're driving. Stuff will fall off. And so we were like, we need some upper cabinets. So I built these from scratch. Just followed YouTube. Really easy to do. Anybody could do it. And then I put one right over here above the coffee bar as well, and redid the lower cabinets to match. Also over here, there was an RV fridge that was in this wall, and there's a wall right here. And we heard that RV fridges, and I don't know if it's 100% true. I'm not saying it happens all the time, but I heard a lot of fires can start from RV fridges. And so we decided that we wanted to get rid of it and not take a chance. And so Rachel picked out this kind of older looking fridge. In order to get the original fridge out, though, we had to literally take this wall down because they built the house around the original fridge that was there. And so we took this wall down, pulled the fridge out, and replaced the wall with a spice rack. And now we're going to move on towards the bedroom. This is our closet space. So this is where we keep our clothes. I made some cabinet doors to kind of match the rest. This is our bathroom. There's no door here, so I built this sliding door. This pattern is awesome. However, it takes a long time to make, so just know that. And I'll let you come in here, Rachel, and check out the bathroom. We got a shower, a little small tub, a sink. When we first moved in, there was zero storage in this bathroom, so there was no medicine cabinet. There was no cabinet above the toilet. So we definitely needed some place to keep our toothbrushes. There wasn't even a mirror in here. There's literally nothing. And so we redid all that. However, we're about to change it. My wife really, really wants a bathtub. So clawfoot bathtub. So we're going to extend the bathroom to the bed and put a tub in here, and that'll probably be done in a few months. So moving on to the bedroom. This is where we're currently in the middle of renovating. The bed originally was flipped this way, and it came to about right here. And so you could kind of scoot around the edges, and there was shelving underneath, but it was claustrophobic, and it was very hard to get around. And if you drop something down there, it wasn't worth going down there to pick it up. And so we immediately decided to switch the bedroom, which was just a couple weeks ago we did that. And I'm going to be building drawers and kind of redoing the whole bedroom, putting up shiplap to match the rest of the bus. So it's still a work in progress. But yeah, also one thing we also did a few weeks ago was we replaced the emergency exit hatch with a skylight hatch, which has really brightened this place up. And it was really easy to do. So if any of you are looking to spend like $600 on a skylight hatch, first look into doing it on your own because it's a lot cheaper. We did it for under $100. And I'm going to take you up on the roof so you can see our solar panels. Alrighty. So we just last week finished installing these 4 390 watt panels. And that's our little fantastic fan. And then of course the hatch here. And so as long as these panels provide us with enough power to power this whole bus and everything in it, I'm going to be putting a deck up that's level with the panels, and that's going to be covering the rest of the bus here. So that's the future goal. And then there's our little telescoping antenna, which gives us internet. One thing you're probably thinking is, man, isn't that a pain to climb up there and get on top of the roof? It is. Once we extend this wall out and extend the bathroom, we're going to put a ladder that will go directly up to it. So it'll be a lot easier once we finish that. All right, and that is the Binks bus. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We're going to go back outside or sit here on the couch.
I'll get the stool so we can take a seat.
Perfect. All right. That is such a beautiful schoolie.
Hey, folks, how we doing?
Nice.
That was a great tour. Thank you very much.
Oh, look at
Awesome.
the keys! Keys!
Yeah, Finn thinks she's a cat whisperer. She actually carries on these long, detailed conversations.
Oh, really?
Monty would talk back.
Yeah, he's a talker.
And then she and the cats all turn real slow and look at me really weird when they have these conversations. So it's yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. But how many cats do you have on board?
One.
One
Yeah,
cat.
one cat on board.
Did you?
I think you need to be like us. Get 8 more. Anyway, so
I grew up with like
Yeah.
8 cats, and I'm good with 1.
We started with one rescue, and then it just snowballed.
I love that the bathroom
Yeah.
door, the sliding, is that sliding door?
Yep.
How long would it take you to do that?
I figured I could just duplicate those little wood pieces and just keep continuing the pattern, but because everything's not 100% straight,
Took like 40
it
hours.
took about 40 hours because I had to keep back and forth between the saw, trimming them just a little bit, and it was a long process, but it was worth it.
I can appreciate that. My question is, all those little pieces,
Yep.
So how did you attach those on there? Are they glued, or did you air gun them, or what did you do?
Yeah, so basically, kind of like you can see the cabinet doors, I built a frame and then put thin wood inside the frame, and then I just glued those wooden pieces to that thin wood.
And they are fine bumping down the highway.
Yeah, you could beat it with a bat and it wouldn't do anything. So
okay, all right.
You want to try?
Well,
I've dropped the door. It's been through some crazy destruction or tripping, falling on it. So it's held up pretty good.
and glue wise, you used like liquid nail
liquid nail. Yep.
You?
Use some strong adhesive. Yep.
All right. Okay, Finn has some fantasy that I'm going to cut a bunch of logs and build a wall thing for the treehouse, and I'm just like,
oh, that'd be cute.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
it'd be awesome.
Okay, let me ask. Do you feel comfortable to tell us what's the cost of, your home, the schoolie?
Yeah, like why we decided to go with the schoolie,
or what the total cost?
The cost, like
the
how
cost?
much?
No, we don't want to. With it. No, we're not interested in that. We want bottom line money.
But money first.
Yeah, so we bought the schoolie already built for about $28,000.
Okay.
It's a '98 Bluebird.
And it already had the roof raised. It has a 2-foot roof raise, so it's 8 feet inside.
Yeah, so 8-foot ceilings. Already had the roof raised, which was one thing I wasn't really comfortable doing myself. The engine's got about 120,000 miles on it. It's a diesel, so it's got some life in it. And we spent about 28,000, and I'd say we probably put a couple grand after solar be done, probably about $6 grand into it after that.
Nice, real nice. I like that it's raised. That
of the maps. How much total?
They got about 34 in it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so we were originally going to go with a tiny house on wheels, and because she's claustrophobic, she doesn't like tight spaces like schoolies. I was totally down for a schoolie, but she didn't want to do that, and it was just a little too expensive because that was our purpose of doing this, was to save money. And so when we found this schoolie with a raised roof, it was a lot less expensive than what we were looking at before, so that's why we went with it.
I can honestly say, and a lot of folks, when they hear me say this, they're like, but you're like the tiny house guy. We have 2 tiny houses, and as somebody who has pulled one like up and down the East Coast and out West and all the way to California and back, and pulling a tiny house, what's the word I'm looking for? Sucks. So that's why we're doing a schoolie, because yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
let's be
cool.
The in terms of insurance. Is it hard to get insurance for the schoolie?
I'm gonna let Rachel answer that question because she's the
always
one who did the
forget the
research.
name. What's the name we have it?
Allstate.
Allstate. So we went through Allstate, and you can choose to go really cheap, or you can choose to go a little bit more expensive, which ours is more on the expensive end because we do plan to be traveling full time. And we want liability. If our house, it's covered like an apartment and like a vehicle all in one. You could go where it's like $300 or $400 for the whole year. We went with more expensive because if our house was to burn, if our house was to be wrecked, we would get it all replaced and we wouldn't have to have anything out of pocket. So
Gotcha.
Allstate has been really good with covering school buses. There's some groups where we have, I forget his name, but we have his information too, and he'll make sure you get what you want personally.
Yeah.
And we've had that over a year.
Can folks reach out to you on IG at @Dinks_tube to ask you about that?
Yeah.
Instagram is what
really quick.
Instagrams we're quickest to get back with you on.
Yeah.
But YouTube, TikTok, we'll get back with you on all those as well.
Great, fantastic. We insured ours as a commercial vehicle through our regular insurance company, Progressive, just to get it for the build process. But Progressive called us flat out. once you convert this, you're not going to be able to do that anymore. They said while you're converting this and driving it around in pre-conversion state, having it with a commercial care, and so we insured it through the organization, United Tiny House. But once it's livable, Progressive is like, we're tapping out, at that point.
A lot of them are done with you as soon as it's converted.
Yeah. And so that's why I brought that question up, was because we get that question a lot, and I thought it would be great for folks to hear it from somebody who's
actually lived what we kind of landed on and was really good at helping us out.
Yeah, and what's nice is you can get what you want, but I do highly recommend if you're going to be driving it around, especially through different states, make sure you get liability. I've had family members who have personally not had liability and have been, taken to court because of an accident, and so just make sure you're covered, because a lot of people don't make sure they're fully covered.
Sure, right. And a segue for Tiny House on Wheels, we always share with people, not only insure the tiny house fully, but your tow vehicle, make sure she's got all the insurances, because what the insurance policy through for the structure, it doesn't always cover things when the house is in motion, and it's the tow vehicle that covers it. And if your tow vehicle has all the bells and whistles of his insurance, then you're not insured. So so it kind of follows that same thing. So gosh, we could just turn the whole segment on just talking insurance. So
pretty much.
Let's meet it.
That's one topic that everybody asks questions about, so that's good.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
And also, I think I want to this last question. Do you have like some inspiration word or some tip for people who want to do what you do? Just get the schooling and then just convert it and then just live the life. Do you have like any tips or anything that encourage them to to go this path?
It's been a journey of freedom for us. We were just slaving away trying to get by and pay rent when we lived on St. Pete, close to the beach. We were stuck in a lease there, and we were barely surviving. We never got to see each other, and so it's a lot of work, and sometimes it can be really discouraging because you're having to learn so many new things when you're building. Like I didn't know anything about how to build a bus when I started it, but you just learn as you go, and you mess up, and you learn how to do it the next time, and it's discouraging, but just know what you're fighting for, and that's so that you can have more time on your hands, do what you enjoy doing. For me, have time with my wife, because I felt like I never saw her because I was always working and slaving away. So just keep your eye on the prize and just keep going, and when you mess up, just figure out, try it again.
For most people, it's not instant. It's a journey, and it took us 3 years to get into this schoolie. And we didn't think we'd be in a schoolie, but we went with it, and we never gave up on our dreams. And we're starting to see it happen. We haven't been traveling all over like we want to yet, but after the summer, everything is pointing to we should be out on the road permanently.
Yeah. Nice. So last question, was the cat pre or post schooling?
Actually, there's a little bit of a sad story to that. We had an amazing cat for years. Her name was Tahiti, and she was literally the perfect cat I've ever seen in my life. And we bought the schoolie, and she was great for the first 5 months, I think. But the day after Christmas, she learned how to open up the bus doors.
The original bus doors.
She got out in the middle of the night, and a neighbor dog came and got her. And we were wrecked because she was literally the perfect cat. Which is why I installed that regular door so that would never happen again. And so right after I installed that, we got this guy. He's not quite as perfect as her, but he's still a kitten.
He's still great, though.
He's growing and maturing still, and you got to train him, but he's still a really good boy.
So,
I'm going to hear about asking this question all night long. Yeah. I'm going to hear about asking that question.
I'm so sorry about that.
Golly,
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good.
So I guess
Go on.
We've had 2 different cats. Tahiti was 6 years old, and it was harder for her to adjust to the engine noise. And when she would just run to the back where it was quieter, and she would stay in the back bedroom
when we drive it.
We drive. But Monty, the first time we took him out, we just had to hold him a little bit. He got used to it right away, and he was comfortable with it. So we've had 2 different cats in here to see how they react. And the younger, the better, but they still get more comfortable with it the older they are. And they've both loved all the windows in here, and they absolutely love all the sunshine that comes through.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, thanks a lot, folks. We really appreciate y'all taking the time out and answering questions. And if folks, you want to hook up with Joel and Rachel or see Monty's adventures in a bus, just visit them on Instagram at Binks_tube. So thanks again.
Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Okay, that one is a really good one. So no hiccups at all. Phew. All right. So next one we got Jennifer. Let's see if Jennifer can hear us. Hello, Jennifer. Uh-oh. Jennifer. All right. So Jennifer is not there. Let's see if we can fix something. Okay. Nope. We can't. Oh, try again. She's coming back on again. 3, 2, 1. Nope, still not on. Okay, so you know what? Maybe we can listen to some cool music from our
she said she's trying to refresh. Jennifer's talking right here.
Okay, Jennifer is communicating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So let me also try refresh right here and see.